Tuesday night, 8 p.m. hits like a hammer on steel. Rumble lights up, we're loading the wheel. Bible laid open, screens burning red. Me and my man cutting through the dread.
Head to truthmedia.com, grab that raw feed. No corporate chains,
just truth, plant the seed.
I'm the shadow hunter, she's the warrior flame. Tracing justice, live, torching the game. Shadow lights explode when the clock strikes 8, and arms riding hard, crashing through the gate. Drops turn to fire, darks tear the veil. Truth or media blood, we never will fail. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, me and you. Husband and wife forged in the fight, digging graves for lies under freedom's light. Great awakening roaring, feel that rebel fire. Truthmedia.com, taking it higher. Lock it in, brothers and sisters. Faith like iron, no surrender, no rust. Rumble's our highway, in truth we trust. From morning to cold to the midnight ride, tracing justice forever, no place to hide.
Dawn and justice mornings, Thursday night thunder. Rumble at 8, tear the veil asunder. 22 deceased burning, this love runs deep. Man and wife standing, no promises cheap. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, breaking through. Husband and wife side by side in the war, digging deep for truth forevermore. Great awakening blazing, set the night on fire. Truthmedia.com, lift it higher.
Welcome, everyone, to a special impromptu edition of Tracing Justice. Listen, I'm coming to you live tonight, or today, whatever you want to call it right now, where you're at. Everybody is screaming for this national emergency for election interference. Well, I'm going to bring you something that Tracy, just with the help of IET 17, I'm going to give him kudos for this. You know, he's one of the original OGs, okay? Also known as Dr. C, okay, on X. but he's went back to IET 17 on X, so check him out. So Tracy took his and done a little bit more digging. Everybody's screaming for this national emergency that we need on election interference. We need a national emergency. What are we going to do? Ah! Everybody's looking for it. Why hasn't POTUS announced it yet? Well, guess what? We already have it. It's still active to this day. And it has been renewed as of August 2025. Q always says, reread executive orders. Re-review executive orders. We're waiting for something that has already been here since 2018. And it's been renewed every year since then. A national emergency, once declared, has to be renewed yearly, or it expires. Here at Truth or Media, we bring you receipts. We bring you real-life documentation of what's going on behind the scenes. And because of Tracy, this was brought to our attention. And I can't believe I didn't see it. I've been in this stuff for years. I didn't put this together. Executive Order 13848. I think I've lost my place here. There we go. Let's share. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to show you how it's still active to this day. We don't need a new national emergency. We already have it. We have it all. This is from the official Federal Registrar. Continuation of the national emergency with respect to foreign interference or undermining public confidence in the United States elections. A presidential document by the Executive Office of the President on 9/3/2025. Interesting. On September 12, 2018, by Executive Order 13848, the President declared a national emergency pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States constituted by the threat, what we just found out last night. Let me increase my screen here so everybody can kind of read along and not just trust me, bro, on this, okay? By the threat of foreign interference in or undermining public confidence in the United States elections. Although there has been no evidence of a foreign power, now we have the evidence. We have it all. 11.3 was just verified. D plus China equals 11.3. Although there has been no evidence of a foreign power altering the outcomes or vote tabulation in any United States election, foreign powers have historically sought to exploit America's free and open political system. What I'm fixing to read you here has now been activated. As of yesterday, 11.3 has been verified. Foreign interference in our elections has been proven with documentation. That activates this national emergency. Although foreign powers have historically sought to exploit America's free and open political system, in recent years, the proliferation of digital devices and internet-based communications has created significant vulnerabilities and magnified the scope and intensity of a threat of foreign interference. The ability of persons located in whole or a substantial part outside of the United States to interfere in or undermine public confidence in the United States elections, including through unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure. Think last night. What did POTUS say? China has got over 220 million voting records of Americans. Yes, Fatal Port, I'm telling you that Biden did renew this 4 times. The ability of persons located in whole or substantial part outside of the United States to interfere in or undermine public confidence in the United States elections, including through unauthorized access of elections and campaign infrastructure, or the covert distribution of propaganda and disinformation. Think that's what our U.S. politicians did. We had evidence back then. Continues to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. For this reason, the national emergency declared on September 12, 2018, must continue in effect beyond September 12, 2025. Therefore, in accordance with Section 202, now remember, when this was a national emergency, when it is declared and renewed, there's another year that it's in effect. This is in effect until September of 2026. The national emergency on election interference has been here and active now, and has been activated since 11.3, has been verified as of yesterday. For this reason, the national emergency declared on September 12, 2018 must continue in effect beyond September 12, 2025. Therefore, in accordance with Section 202 of the National Emergencies Act, I am continuing for the 1 year of the national emergency declared in Executive Order 13848 in respect to the threat of foreign interference in or undermining public confidence in the United States elections. I know a lot of people from our team has been screaming for this national emergency. Hell, they might still be after this show. I don't know. But I'm proving you with documentations, and we've got more to come, that it is already in effect. And it has been activated as of last night. This notice shall be published in the Federal Register and transmitted to Congress. Donald J. Trump. Executive Order 13848, imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in a United States election. Issued on 9/14/2018. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the IEEPA, the National Emergencies Act, Section 212 of the Immigration and Nationalities Act of 1952, and Section 301 of Title III of the United States Code. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find the ability of persons located in whole or substantial part outside of the United States to interfere in or undermine public confidence in the United States elections, including through unauthorized access of election and campaign infrastructure, or the covert distribution of propaganda and disinformation, constitutes an unusual, extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Although there has been no evidence of a foreign power altering the outcome of vote tabulations of the United States election, foreign powers have historically sought to exploit America's free and open political system. In recent years, the proliferation of digital devices and internet-based communications has created significant vulnerabilities and magnified the scope and intensity of the threat of the foreign interference. As illustrated in the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment. Do you remember after the 2016 election, Donald Trump put into play saying, hey, After an election, after 90 days, I want a report on every single election and possible interference. That's important. He did that for a reason. I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with this threat. And if you're joining us late, I am reading the national emergency declared by Donald J. Trump in foreign interference of elections that has been renewed every year and still active till September of 2026. We've all been on shows screaming, a national emergency is coming. A national emergency is coming on elections. A national emergency is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been here. This one executive order, as we were fixing to read through it, gives the president so much power to do whatever he needs to do. We need to quit screaming that we need a national emergency from our president. And we need to start educating everybody about Executive Order 13848 and its continuance now. The whole screaming part's over with. The education part starts now. Now, I can do one or two things. Our Fire OS within Truther Media has broke down Executive Order 13848 into simple terms. Or I can read it word for word what POTUS has said here. You know what? I can't hardly read that, so dang. Here we go. So what I can do is I'm going to give you it in layman's terms. And I want to credit Freedom Fire 1776 for sending this to me. It's a breakdown of Executive Order 13848. And I'll pull up mine since gosh guys, I'm sorry, I don't know any other way to make this any bigger. Give me just 1 second. I'll just have to read it. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Executive Order 13848 creates a standing national emergency framework for the United States to identify foreign interference in federal elections, assess whether election or campaign infrastructure was materially affected, and impose economic, financial, export, and travel sanctions on responsible foreign persons and their support network. The core point is the primary intelligence assessment and sanctions order. It is not by itself an election cancellation order, a criminal indictment or arrest warrant or martial law declaration, or military tribunal authority. The Director of National Intelligence performs the first assessment within 45 days after a federal election. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was 45 days, not 90 days. The Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security then evaluate the effect on the election infrastructure and campaign or political infrastructure. Treasury, State, Justice, and Homeland Security determine and recommend sanctions. The order reaches direct actors, financial and technological supporters, fronts, controlled entities, and persons acting on the behalf of blocked actors. So in layman's terms, if we've blocked a government out and then we've got private companies coming in and helping these foreign governments, that gives us a lot of power to seize, control these companies. The national emergency has been renewed annually, and it was continued beyond September 12, 2025 for one additional year. The OFAC implementation of the order through 31 CFR Part 579 has used it in designations involving Russian and Iranian linked election interference or interference activity. Okay, let's stop right here. Okay. So, we're in Iran right now. Guys, this connects so much, guys. Oh my God. I wish I could just let y'all see into my brain right now. You've got POTUS harping on this nuclear dust. Okay. We know uranium 1. We know uranium 1 is going to be coming into play as soon as Iran is settled. Do you remember Barack Obama sending pallets of cash over to Iran because Hillary Clinton lost in repayment for what? Foreign interference in our elections. And it didn't work in 2016. The order in one sentence. After each federal election, the intelligence community identifies foreign interference, DOJ, and DHS assesses the damage and or effect, and the Treasury and state can punish responsible foreign actors and their networks through sanctions and related restrictions. Okay, I want to piece something else together for you. Do you remember during this whole Iranian conflict, us seizing assets from Iran? Just because we're in conflict with somebody doesn't give us the legal authority to seize assets. But what does? You remember when we seized all that Iranian Bitcoin about 2 or 3 months ago? 2 months ago, I think. You have to have legal precedent to be able to do that. How do you do that? What if Iran was complicit in election interference of our nation's elections? I'm no election expert, guys. I don't claim myself to be an election expert or anything. Hey, Irish Patriot, thanks for checking in. But this stuff is pretty straightforward. You can connect the dots on your own. So number 4, workflow and deadlines. Federal elections concludes within 45 days. The DNI completes a foreign interference assessment under Section 1A. Who is our DNI right now? Is he a temp? Temps can be dangerous to those who targeted. Pulte. Within 45 days after the DOJ and DHS received that assessment, Attorney General and the DHS Secretary complete the impact report under Section 1B. Tracy Knowles trying to call me right now. Please call him and tell him I'm busy. Treasury reviews both reports and imposes appropriate sanctions under Section 2. Number 5, State and Treasury jointly recommended whether broader country or sector level sanctions could be considered under Section 3. New information can cause amended assessments and reports later. That's important. New information can cause amended assessments and reports later. So as the information changes and comes in, 11.3 verified last night. New sanctions can be imposed. Important timing clarification. The two 45-day periods are sequential, not just one single 45-day clock. The order does not require the intelligence assessment or the DOJ and DHS report to be publicly released. That's important. Publicly released during that period. All that they need to do is report it to the President of the United States. That's it. They don't have to release it to the public. We have it all. Complete breakdown, sections 1 through 14. Why the emergency exists. The president found that persons located wholly or substantially outside the United States could interfere in elections or undermine public confidence through unauthorized access to election and or campaign infrastructure, covert propaganda, and disinformation. The president declared this as an unusual and extraordinary threat to a national emergency. Layman's explanation. The order says that foreign election operations are a national security problem, not merely a campaign problem. Hey, Debbie V57 over there on Facebook, thank you for the check-in. I see some new faces in the chat. I wish I could go calling everybody out, but this is pretty intense stuff. So backing up, layman's explanation. The order says foreign election operations are a national security problem, not merely a campaign problem. The threat includes attacks on voting systems, which we have evidence of as of last night. Campaigns, we have evidence of that as of last night. Political organizations, we have evidence of that as of last night, 11.3 verified. Information and public confidence. Declaring a national emergency unlocks IEEPA sanction powers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we took the Bitcoin. That's how we took accounts from Iran. You have to have proof and legal precedents to do so. President Trump just can't do these things just because he wants to do them. He has to do things by the book. Critical wording. The statement that there was no evidence of a foreign power altering election outcome or vote tabulation described the record cited where the order was signed. The order still recognizes broader interference, hacking, covert propaganda, disinformation, stolen material, think China and voting records, false material, think ballots, think China printing fake ballots, and operations designed to undermine confidence. Influence, interference, infrastructure compromise, and altered vote totals are not treated as identical concepts. Section 1A, DNI Foreign Interference Assessment. What the order says, I'm just going to give you the layman's explanation. The intelligence community must answer who did it, what did they do, how did they do it, who directed and supported it. Why this section matters. Creates a reoccurring post-election intelligence duty. That's important. That's how we have it all on all of our elections. Ask yourself where they get this information from. Space Force? Donald Trump. That has got to be my most important thing that I have ever done or accomplished as President of the United States was creating Space Force. It has been key and crucial in everything. Donald J. Trump. Requires attribution and identification methods and actors. That's important too. The report identifies who and where and when and what. That's important. How do you legally inject evidence into a case? Sends the assessment to the president and or senior national security officials. What can it do? It's the next page. Can identify foreign states, agents, methods, sponsoring structures. That's important. And support networks. Why are we not hearing about this? Can remain classified in whole or part. What does it not do by itself? Does not decide whether votes were changed, does not impose sanctions automatically, does not itself create criminal charges. Investigative questions. Was a classified assessment completed on time? Was a declassified version released? What agencies coordinated or dissented? Were later amendments issued? Section 1B, layman's terms. DNI handles attribution. DOJ and DHS handle impact. What systems or organized were affected, and how serious was the effect? Why this section matters. Separates intelligent judgments from legal, technical, and impact judgments. Okay, so basically, in layman's terms, let me break this down for you. The DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, gathers all the information and creates a report, then submits it to the President of the United States. The President of the United States then decides what he wants to do with this information. Does he want to keep it classified? Does he want to release it? Do we want to go after indictments for these people? Timing is everything. Q said, timing solely rests with POTUS. Why this section matters. Again, separates intelligence judgments from legal, technical, and impact judgments. Covers voting system and campaign or political systems. Requires unresolved material factual disputes to be identified. So basically what it's saying is there's no trust me bro on this. It's all fact-based. It's all evidence-based. Why? Because we have to have that. It has to be carry weight. It has to be proven in a court of law, no matter whether that's military court of law or a civilian court of law. What does it not do by itself? Does not require finding that a vote total is changed before foreign interference can exist. That is important. Does not require a finding that vote totals changed before foreign interference can exist. Does not automatically invalidate an election. Section 1C, information sharing and amended reports. And listen, guys, I'm going to try to find a way to publish this to X or wherever, so y'all can read all of this for yourself, okay? Layman's explanation. The report is not frozen forever. That's important. Think about what we just went through last night. New intelligence, forensic evidence, financial records, or investigations can update the official record. Okay, so let's think here. This order, Executive Order 13848, was imposed before the 2018 midterms. And then we had the 2020 election. And then we had the 2022 election. And then we had the 2024 election. What does that mean? What that means is that every election since this order, there has been reports created. There has been evidence injected. What was Biden looking for at Mar-a-Lago that he didn't find? What's in that red folder? The keystone? Find the keystone. Are you seeing it yet? Every election since this order has injected new evidence against the deep state and foreign interference in our elections. 2024 was the last. I don't know what you mean by that, Christine. An X. Yeah, we're in the FO stage now, a Dutch rumbler. Okay, let's continue on. Why this section matters: creates an ongoing investigative pipeline, allows post-deadline discoveries to be incorporated. What it can do, can add newly discovered actors. And when we say actors, we don't mean people like playing in a movie. We're talking about people that's involved in the crime. Actors. It's important to distinguish that from the fake and gay crowd out there. Can revise prior assessments when the evidence changes. What it does not do by itself, Section 1C, what it does not do by itself, does not guarantee that every amendment will be public, does not remove classification protections. Section 1D, independent reports to the President. Layman's explanation. The formal Section 1 reports are not the only information the President may receive. Why this section matters: preserves separate agency reporting channels, allows urgent or specialized information to reach the President. That's very, very important. This whole thing is important. So information, once it presents itself, can be fast-tracked to the President. Chat, is everybody following me here? Am I making sense of this to you? Am I going too fast? Am I using too much nomenclature that you can't understand this? Please just tell me. So I hope I'm making sense here. I hope I'm going slow enough that everybody can wrap their heads around this. Because we got to stop talking about we're looking for a national emergency to be occurred, because President Trump's already done it. It's still active to this day. We got to quit looking for it, and we got to start educating. Okay, 10:15 says working for me. Good. Yes, all good, Bella Child. Okay, what it can do can include cyber, financial, diplomatic, law enforcement, or defense analysis. Defense means Department of Defense. Think Space Force. Who is the largest DoD contractor with Space Force? Elon Musk. Who has the most satellites? Elon Musk. Who's teamed up with Elon Musk? Palantir. Who's part of the DoD? What it does not do by itself: does not make every memo a formal EO 13848 assessment, does not bypass applicable law or proper channels. Okay, Section 1E. Guys, listen, I know this is long. I get it. But we got to understand this stuff. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I agree, Iowa Girl 30. I agree. Section 1E, state, tribal, and local elections. Give me just a second, guys. Let me drink some water. Layman's explanation of 1E. The mandatory definition centers on federal elections, but evidence involving lower level elections can still enter the EO process. So what does that mean? Your state elections, your local governorships, that evidence can still be entered into the report under Executive Order 13848. So just because it's just a state election doesn't shield them from evidence gathering of fraud in local and state elections. That is so very important. Why this section matters. Prevents relevant non-federal election evidence from being ignored. Jeff, I'm glad you're able to get into the chat, finally. So again, guys, important. Section 1E. Why this section matters. Prevents relevant non-federal, which means state and local, election evidence from being ignored. That is so important. They start at the local level, injecting your key local officials. That's how they got to your school system, folks. That's the start of the process, is the locals. And then the local election goes to your House of Representatives then. Then it goes to your Senate. Then it goes to the presidency. What it can do, can bring state and local incidents into the national security assessment. What it does not do by itself, does not redefine every local election as a federal election. Section 1F, Interagency Framework and Safeguards. Layman's explanation. The agencies had to write the operating rules for the process and build safeguards against the politicization and the improper treatment of protected speech. Why does this section matter? It is a process control section. It expressly recognizes free speech, political bias, intelligence protection, and analytic consistency. What it can do, can create classified or partly classified procedures, can separate fact-finding from policy decisions. What it does not do by itself does not authorize government punishment of ordinary protected political speech. So basically what this is saying is, you're going to have people that dissent. You're going to have people that give their explanation of why they don't like Donald Trump or whatever. Okay? This is still America. You can still voice your opinions. If you are found not to be in cahoots with somebody, you can say whatever you want to. But just... man. What it does not do by itself does not authorize government punishment of ordinary protected political speech, does not erase First Amendment protections. Investigative question: is a framework public, classified, or attainable through FOIA, Freedom of Information Act? What standards distinguish protected speech from covert foreign government action? Section 2, this is the big one, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I meant skip it. I forgot to put the next page up. But again, I'm going to publish this one way or another on X. Section 2, mandatory blocking sanctions. What the order says: Treasury may block U.S. connected property and property interest of a foreign person determined to have engaged in, sponsored, concealed, or been complicit in foreign interference, materially assisted in it, or be owned, controlled, or acting for a blocked person. Layman's explanation. This is the asset freeze section. Once designated, the target is generally cut off from property and transactions that touch the United States or U.S. persons. Why this section matters: reaches direct perpetrators and the support network, includes financial, material, technological, goods, and services support, reaches fronts and controlled entities. What it can do: freezes assets under U.S. jurisdiction, can prohibit U.S. persons from dealing with designated targets, can use cyber sanctions authorities at the same time. What it does not do: It does not confiscate every asset everywhere in the world, does not automatically prove a criminal offense beyond a reasonable doubt, does not automatically sanction domestic persons merely for political speech. Section number 3, additional sanctions and sector recommendations. What the order says. After the Section 1 reports, Treasury reviews and imposes appropriate sanctions. State and Treasury may recommend broader sanctions, potentially including major entities in finance, defense, energy, technology, transportation, or comparable strategic sectors of a sponsoring country. Layman's explanation. This is the escalation ladder. The response can move from punishing specific actors to recommending pressure against major companies or strategic sectors connected to the responsible foreign government. For example, if you have a company that's operating in the United States, that does business in the United States, we can take control of it if we prove that they interfered in our election processes or aided a foreign entity in interfering in our elections. Did you just hear that? For instance, let's say BlackRock. Did BlackRock possibly aid Iran, United Kingdom, Italy, Venezuela, and others to interfere in our elections? Maduro didn't seem like that he was too worried about coming to the United States. And as AJP said last night, who was guarding Maduro? Was it the Venezuelan authorities? No. It was Cuba. Cuba was guarding Venezuela, was guarding Maduro. Why was Venezuela giving Cuba oil for free? Was Maduro under lock and key? Now that after yesterday, after 11.3 was verified, did he help verify 11.3? Seems so. President Trump is talking about Venezuela right now. He just dropped the receipts last night on Venezuela. Think Dominion. Think the Dominion machines. Where were they based out of? Venezuela. Dominion also operates in the United States. Could, under Section 138 or Executive Order 13818, could we seize control of Dominion? Or any people aiding Dominion? Or any political officials aiding Dominion? Putting out false information? Why, yes, we can. Under Executive Order 13848, that's been extended through September 2026 as a national emergency on election infrastructure. The one everybody's screaming for right now. It's already here. It's been here since 2018. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. I think you're getting the gist of it here. Section 3, additional sanctions and sector recommendations. After Section, I read this, but I'm rolling back just a little bit, okay? After Section 1 reports, Treasury reviews and imposes appropriate sanctions. State and Treasury may recommend broader sanctions, potentially including major entities in finance, defense, energy, technology, transportation, and/or comparable strategic sectors of a sponsoring country. Layman's explanation: this is an escalation ladder. The response can move forward in punishing the specific actors to recommending pressure against major companies or strategic sectors connected to the responsible foreign government. Section 4, donation ban. What the order says. The order prohibits certain humanitarian type donations to, by, or for blocked persons when those donations would seriously impair the president's ability to address the emergency. Layman's explanation: blocked actors cannot use donations as an easy route around the asset freeze. Why this section matters: closes a potential sanctions loophole. Think Act Blue. Think donations from the Democrat Party to Ukraine, Iran, etc. Section 5, funds, goods, and services prohibited. What the order says. The prohibitions include providing of receiving funds, goods, services to and from for a blocked person. Exactly, Iowa girl. Who had the meltdown when Maduro was taken? The Democrats and the terrorist sympathizers. Layman's explanation of funds, goods, and services prohibited. You generally cannot pay, supply, serve, receive from, or otherwise transact with someone designated under the order unless OFAC authorizes it. Why this section matters: makes asset freeze operational in everyday transactions. Section 6, entry into the United States suspended. What the order says. The entry of non-citizens whose property is blocked under the order is suspended, and they are treated under the Proclamation 8693. Layman's explanation: designed for foreign persons may also be barred from entering the United States. Why this section matters: adds an immigration consequence to the financial sanctions. Can restrict immigrant and non-immigrant entry. Interesting. Section 7, anti-evasion and conspiracy. What the order says. Transactions that evade, avoid, or attempt to evade, cause a violation of, or conspire to violate the order are prohibited. It's pretty broad, guys. That's pretty broad. Layman's explanation. Using intermediaries, shell companies, fake invoices, pass-through payments, or coordinated workarounds itself can violate the sanction rules. Why this section matters: target schemes to design or hide or route around sanctions. Think Act Blue. Think Vote Red. It's all the same. Section 8, definitions. What the order says. The section defines person, entity, United States person, election infrastructure, the United States election, foreign interference, foreign government, covert, and state. Here's a layman's explanation of Section 8. This section controls how the rest of the order is read. The definitions are broad and include organizations, political parties, it's important, political parties, attempted actions, attempted, So even if it's attempted and unsuccessful, it still goes in Executive Order 13848. Public confidence operations and many election-related technologies. Why this section matters. The definition of foreign interference includes covert, fraudulent, deceptive, or unlawful actions or attempts. The purpose or effect may be influencing, undermining confidence, altering results, or undermining election institutions. Foreign governments includes foreign political parties and officials. What it can do. Can cover attempts even if unsuccessful. Can cover campaign information operations, not only voting machines. Can cover entities and networks, not only individuals. Section 9. No prior notice before designation. What the order says. The President determined that prior notice could allow rapid asset transfers and make sanctions ineffective. So no advance notice is required before listing a person. So basically, I'll give you the layman's explanation, then I'll expand on it. Treasury can freeze first and notify through the designation process afterwards, preventing targets from moving money before the freeze lands. Okay, that's why this is important. And this is why also earlier in the order that things can remain classified. They don't have to come out through these reports. Because if they did, the sanctions would be known ahead of time. And then the people within the government that are dirty would be trying to give these people a heads up. Section 10. Official government business exception. What the order says. Official transaction by the U.S. government, employees, grantees, or contractors are not prohibited. Layman's explanation. The government can still carry out authorized official work involving a sanctioned environment or person. So basically, if Donald Trump wants to do something, he can still do it. Section 11, implementation and delegation. What the order says. Treasury, consulting with DOJ and state, that's a State Department, Marco Rubio, okay, may issue regulations and use IEEPA powers to implement the order. Treasury may redelegate functions, and all agencies must take appropriate measures within their authority. Layman's explanation. This section tells the Treasury to build and run the sanctions program and tells the rest of the government to support it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why our Treasury is so important. That's why the person running the Treasury is so important. Why do you think you've been getting comms from him? Section 12, reports to Congress. What the order says. Treasury, consulting with the DOJ and state, may submit reoccurring and final reports to Congress required by the National Emergencies Act and the IEEPA. Layman's explanation of Section 12. Congress receives the legality required emergency reports, although classified annexes or details may not be public. What it's saying is it does not require that these details be made public. Section 13, statutory communications and information exceptions. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm way behind. There we go. And again, I believe Freedom Fire has got this posted. So at the end, I don't want you to leave right now going reading through this. Let's finish the show first, and then I'll post all this up where you guys can look through all this. Section 13. Statutory communications and informational exceptions. What the order says. The order must be implemented consistently with 50 U.S.C. 1702 B1 and 3. Layman's explanation. IEEPA generally protects personal communications and certain informational materials from presidential economic control subject to the statute's wording and or other applicable laws. So basically, it's still giving people civil liberties. Section 14. Standard legal saving clauses. What the order says. The order does not impair existing agency authority or OMB functions. OMB is the office of, basically the budget office. You know who runs that one? The Reaper. Russ Voigt. He controls the budget. He controls the money. POTUS calls him the Reaper for a reason. Must follow applicable law in all available appropriations and creates no privately enforceable right or benefit. Layman's explanation. The order does not rewrite every agency's legal powers, does not suspend money Congress has not provided, and generally cannot be used by a private person as a standalone basis to sue the government for a benefit. Why this section matters: preserves existing legal structures, limits implementation to lawful and funded action, rejects creation of a private cause for action. Definitions: person, an individual or any kind of organization. Entity, corporations, partnerships, trusts, joint ventures. Group, subgroup, association, and or organization. United States person, U.S. citizen, lawful permanent resident, U.S. organized entity including foreign branches, or anyone physically, this is important, or anyone physically in the United States. Election infrastructure, technology and system used to run elections, also registrations. Databases, voting machines, tabulators, and secure result transmission equipment. United States election definition: a federal office election held on or after September 12, 2018. So any election after this order is subject to every single thing in this executive order. Foreign interference, covert, fraudulent, deceptive. Gosh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not doing a good job here. Okay. Covert, fraudulent, deceptive, or unlawful foreign government-linked actions or attempts intended or having the effect of influencing, undermining confidence, or altering an election or its reported results. What is a foreign government? A foreign national, state, providential, or other governing authority, a foreign political party, or an official of either. Covert, conduct intended to hide or avoid public acknowledgement of the foreign government's role. State, state plus U.S. territories, dependencies, and positions. So I'm going to post the link to this, the rest of this, okay? Woo, that was a lot of reading. So what did we just do? It's important to know that what we just did here. We just proved there's all these talking heads out there, and I was one of them. We're screaming for this national emergency. Why haven't POTUS done anything yet? Why won't he do it? Why won't he pull the trigger? Ladies and gentlemen, he already has. We just weren't paying attention. Maybe some of you all saw it. I don't know. I want to thank 3 people in this. Dr. C / IET17. OG, man. OG. I want to thank Tracy for expanding on this and running with it. I was actually laying in bed with her going through X, looking for some information, and she said, "Josh, stop what you're doing right now." I said, "Okay, what's going on?" Yeah, the Slaughter, Trump versus Slaughter, was a game changer. That gives him the sweeping ability to get rid of whoever he wants to. Timing is everything. So she said, this national emergency we've been screaming for the past 6 months? Yeah. She said, it's already here. I always scream Executive Order 13848, 13818. Oh, girl, yeah, you're right. I've been screaming it. But guess what? I forgot that it was actually election interference. We always placed it with sanctions and everything, okay? I was like, well, that's how we got this and that's how we got that. But what I forgot was it's actually a national emergency on our elections. And I want to thank Freedom Fire, too. In Truther Media, we use what we call a Fire OS. It's a digging tool. It pieces things together sometimes where we can't quite piece them together, or gives us breakdowns on stuff. Freedom Fire and Yeet have developed it together. So I want to thank them. So when you're out there on the airwaves and you're listening to these shows and you're on X and people saying, we need a national emergency, just tell them, say, hey, hold up. Don't be screaming at POTUS. He's already done it. It's already here. It's been here since 2018. It gives him sweeping authority to take matters into his own hands. It gives him the ability to turn this stuff over to the DOJ for prosecutions. POTUS can't prosecute anybody. You realize that, right? He is over the executive branch, but he can't just say, go arrest, blah, 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 blah. That's what Obama did. Executive Order 13848. So what does that mean? That means it would be great if we had the SAVE Act. But what did I tell you guys yesterday morning on Dawning Justice? They're not going to pass it. Because they know once the SAVE Act goes into effect, the game is over. For all the rhinos, all the Democrats, everybody involved, it's game over for them. That one bill will effectively save our country. That's why they call it the SAVE Act. So what do we got to do? First off, let's educate people about what we just learned today. And then we keep on with D-Class. So you're asking yourself, Josh, why doesn't the FBI just go start rounding up all these people? We've got all the goods on them. Yeah, we do. We do. But, comma, as AGP says, we got to lay it out to the public. Why? Because we don't want rioting in the streets. We want people on POTUS's side. Yesterday was the start. 11.3 was verified. Let's see here. That's not it. I'm looking for something here. See, there's 11.3, guys. Earlier. We done it yesterday. I want to read one more thing to you. I know I've read it several times, but I want to just read it to you one more time, because I don't think everybody realizes what has happened and what has occurred. Q post 1332. Fellow patriots, what you are about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control of freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt pure evil abuses of power that Hussein, remember, Trump always says, all roads lead back to Obama, undertook in joint efforts with the domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5. The avalanche. D5 is an avalanche. Its classification of avalanche is the most powerful one. Stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. United we stand worldwide. Where we go one, we go all. We fight. And what has everybody said? The election deniers and all that. Oh, it's a big conspiracy. That 2020 stuff, that's just a big conspiracy. Joe Biden won. We fight. Conspiracy no more. And I'm going to play this video.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever's necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Q post 4511. This has never been attempted. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. This has never been attempted. The use of general public to counter the narrative propaganda pushed by the controlled media. Analysis start to now indicate situational awareness, decoupling of MSDNC control and information. Channels 1 through 99 is talking about D-class. Of general public expanding at massive pace. We've already seen the shills out there today. They're everywhere. Attacks indicate can be defined as loss of generalized information control. Need to expend ammunition, muster network to defend and coordinate attacks to counter. Military-civilian alliance. Q. It's time. The battle has arrived. What you're going to see come down this over the course of the next couple of months leading up to the election, it's your job to spread it out there. It's your job to explain it to people, your family, your friends. The D-class information is coming out. We're in day one of it. The clock has been activated. If you don't believe me, go look at my X feed. Things have now been set into motion that nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing. But we can only do it together. Together we win. Informational warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. All right, guys. I hope I gave you some good information. I owe it all to Tracy. I'm just presenting it to you. This was her information and Freedom Fire's information and IET 17. Oh, man. What a day. I have a feeling that it's just going to pick up from here. You know, I wish I had that video. Hold on just one second. Let me look here. Let me see if I can upload this. So, you know, I was talking this morning on my show that you're about to find out what Q meant was enjoy the show. It's the start. Yesterday was the start. We verified that this morning through the marker on Dawning Justice. It's there. I mean, it's undisputable. D5 has started. The snowball has begun rolling. We've waited for this day for how long, Tracy? Yeet, how long have we waited for this day? Chat, how long have we waited for this? If you don't think this is huge, oh, this ain't nothing. You better buckle up. Just like Mama Fox 66 just said, you better buckle up, buttercups. So, the Q post right here. JFK Jr. plane crash 1999. The start. Enjoy the show. I'm not saying JFK Jr. is coming back. This was a marker. Yesterday, JFK Jr. killed in plane crash. JFK Jr. plane crash 1999. The start. Enjoy the show. Q. The show is what's in that red folder.
Well, it's been a good show, but the best is yet to come. Well, enjoy the show. Well, enjoy the show.
Well, enjoy the show.
Well, enjoy the show. Well, enjoy the show.
Well, enjoy the show. The thing is, come on, man. America could be described in one word. I was in the foothill of the Himalayas.
Well, enjoy the show.
You thought you could bury me. Thought the dark would close in. You were wrong. You don't know who I am, and you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame. They said I've stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.